Hi guys, welcome back to another collection video, and today we're going to talk about the best collector's edition Blu-rays that you can possibly buy here in the UK. So yeah guys, the best collector's edition Blu-rays that you can get here as a collector in the UK. Now I'm focusing on the UK specifically because, well, that's where I live. So and it's the ones I get, so I know what ones to get. Now if you're new to Blu-ray, or if you're just getting into film, or you say, oh, well, I want to get certain things but I don't know what to get, this is a video that I don't see anybody really talking about, so I thought I would talk a wee bit more about the collector's Blu-ray editions. Basically what I mean by when I say collector's editions Blu-rays, I'm talking about labels, the best kind of labels to get. You're looking at your Arrow Video here, which is a sort of British company. You're also looking at Arrow Academy, which is, I think, Arrow's next of kin sort of thing. You're also looking at Eureka, Masters of Cinema collection. You're also looking at, well, Criterion Collection, which is an American company that's just in the last year came here in the UK. You're also looking at Indicator, Powerhouse Films. They're new. They're a new company that started here in the UK. And also HMV Premium Collection. Well, HMV Premium Collection, I would say, could be part of it in a sense. What do I mean by like collector's edition? Well, these are the Blu-rays that you buy that, for example, cost a lot. You won't find them in. For those that live in the UK, you'll know what I'm talking about. HMV, they do the 5 for 30. And the odd time you find that any of these films, any of these makes in there, you're lucky. I know Arrow Video do it from time to time, once or twice a year. And so if you find them in there, that's the time to get them. But these are the Blu-rays, like, normally are expensive. They're about £15 each, maybe even £20, depending what it is. And, you know, I mean, they put a lot of work into it. I mean, you do feel like you get your money's worth. There's nothing bothers me about paying like £15 for a Blu-ray, and you get it and it's got like a trailer on it, and you've got no special features or anything like that. You haven't got a booklet or something like that. You've nothing. You've just got the movie and a trailer, and you've paid £15 for that. That annoys me. I think that's a rip-off. Blu-rays shouldn't be that price, especially for basically maybe an old film, and you've just get a trailer or something. Whereas these companies, these labels that I've just mentioned to you, is they put a lot of work into their movies. They're passionate. They put a lot of it. Restore the movie to 2K, 4K, whatever. They give you special features galore. I mean, they don't hold no punches. They give you. I've sat with some of these titles that I've just mentioned for 2 hours worth of special features, and watching a special feature after special feature to sometimes 2 hours, maybe just over that. And you get a booklet with it, or you get cards, postcards, or whatever, merchandise of some kind. You just feel that you're getting your money's worth, especially if they're old movies. And Arrow Video was probably the first one. It's probably at the my favourite one, I suppose. I'd say Arrow Video were a company that started way back when DVDs were when Blu-rays, just before Blu-rays were just approaching, or Blu-rays were just starting. Maybe like, say Arrow Video started maybe 10 years ago, maybe about that, and they were bringing it out in DVD, and they were focusing on older horror movies, like B movies, and they were kind of restoring it, and they would actually go out their way and give you special features to movies that you never had any extras or any behind the scenes footage at all, and they would go out their way and track maybe some old footage, and obviously with the director's permission they would give you all this material, and they would update it. And the cool thing about it is the artwork on their covers. One thing I've said before, the old videos especially the 80s movies, had the best artwork. Not this Photoshop crap, just, you know, the proper like artwork. And they would update that by giving you a better, or their version. And if you didn't like it, you flip the cover over and you've got the original version at the back. So, I mean, for people like me, I mean, movies to me are art, and that's, I love like posters and stuff like that, like the old vintage posters or retro style posters. That's the stuff I'm sucker for. So like, so when Blu-ray started coming in, Arrow started moving their format to Blu-ray, and I think that's when they took off in a stroll. You know, I think that's when they really. But then they took on maybe about 2012, 13. They took on more movies, more licenses for movies. They did The Burbs, which in my opinion is one of the best 80s cult classic comedies, you know, around. It's one of the movies that got me really interested. I thought there was not much attention to it. Mind you, when The Burbs came out, nobody liked it. I think the people did like it. There was very few, but it got bad rep, and it was only like maybe in the last sort of like 20 years after the Burbs, it started to take on a cult following through video and DVD, things like that. So the DVD I had was, I mean, I had this thing in VHS, I had it in DVD, and it was just a trailer. There was nothing. There was nothing else. But the Blu-ray, when Arrow released it, they gave you tons of special features. They gave you a booklet. They gave you an alternate ending. They gave you an alternate cut to the movie. It was one of the best releases I felt from Arrow that we got. Then they started taking on more licenses like Big Trouble in Little China, Time Bandits. They started reaching out, and still to this day they still branch out, and every month you get so many more, another 6 releases or something like that, 5 releases from them. So they are a great company. If you haven't got an Arrow video or haven't seen any Arrow video, Google Arrow video, look them up, guys. If you're a collector and you're passionate about movies, check them out. Not all Arrow movies are great. I mean, there's some really bad B movies in there. But they have took the time to focus because there's certain people that are interested in them. That's why they've got a cult following. But you know, the ones out there that they've took that are loved, and like Big Trouble in Little China, Matinee, things like that. So they don't always focus on most of the Arrow videos are horror, dark / comedy. So they focus on the kind of, so they've got a few westerns in there, very very few, and they've got maybe a few like kind of gangstery movies sort of thing in there, but they're kind of cult ones that took off as they got better. So it's Arrow Video, and you're always guaranteed tons of special features. You're never going to be let down by Arrow, no matter what it is. And I'm sure there'll be a title in there that you'll like that you say, oh, I didn't realise that was. So Arrow Video is like one of the strongest ones if you're a collector in the UK. Try and look them up. Arrow Academy, I've only got a few Arrow Academies, so I can't really dive into what's Arrow Academy. From what I've seen from Arrow Academy, it seems to be like their next of kin sort of thing, then their sort of sister or brother company, where they branch out a wee bit more on sort of dramas and things like that. I mean, they've done a Woody Allen box set, a bunch of Woody Allen box sets, which I've recently got, and they don't have many special features because Woody Allen's not very much of a... He doesn't have special features in any of his films, apart from maybe a trailer and that, but they did go out their way to kind of get like an interview type thing with him, and it's a booklet. So I mean, if you buy the box set, you'll get the booklet, but if you buy them single, you're not going to get much special features with them, so that's a wee bit disappointing. But the transfer of the movies are good, can't complain about that. The ones that are single, from what I've seen of different other types of movies, they do have special features and stuff like that, so I'm sure you'll get a booklet and stuff like that with it. But I haven't got many Arrow videos to stand here and talk about them, so from what I've seen of them, what kind of things they take kind of dramas and cult kind of films like that, whereas Arrow Video focuses more on the horror side and the dark comedy things. So that's what they do. Eureka Masters of Cinema collection is another British company, and that's more of our Criterion collection here in the UK before Criterion came here. But that was our kind of Criterion. There's a lot of titles that are in them that will be in Criterion that I've noticed, especially Masters of Cinema. They give you special features as well, maybe alternate versions of the movie, the different Panavisions and stuff like that. That's pretty cool. The transfers are really, really good. I've never complained. They give you a booklet. They always give you a booklet with it, and just a lot of stuff, interesting facts about films. One of the main things that Eureka have done recently is branched out. When they started doing Master Cinema, and they've labelled them, their cases 1, 2, all the way up. But in the last couple of years, they've started branching out to outside Masters of Cinema. So they're just called Eureka, and they'll just take maybe some titles from some 80s films or whatever, and finally give them a release. And that's always good. They give you some special features with some. You're lucky with some of them. You're limited to certain special features depending on what it is. Enemy Mine, which doesn't have a lot of special features, but you're guaranteed the movie and the booklet. But you can flip the cover over, which is quite good. They've gave you an alternate cover, which is nice. So I haven't got very many Eureka standard releases, but the ones I have seen seems to be like they are branching out and giving you certain titles. Criterion Collection has came to the UK, as I was mentioning earlier. They're great. I know Criterion's been about for 30 years, back when it was, videos and all that, and DVDs and stuff like that. We've not had any Criterion here in the UK just up till 2016 when they gave us that. And the same thing with Arrow Video in the last couple of years, they branched over to America, and we've got Criterion coming over here, which is nice. And it's good to get some titles that we haven't got released here yet in the UK on these formats. Now, like I mentioned earlier, we will have some titles that are released here in Arrow Video, Eureka, Masters of Cinema. We have got some titles. So for collectors here in the UK that say, right, I want to get maybe every Criterion collection that will come out, it's going to be kind of awkward because you'll have the copy of that in Arrow Video and things like that. So I can't see them releasing nearly every Criterion collection here. I think what they'll do is release certain titles that have not been released here in the UK, and that's how you're going to start building your collection. I noticed they're not releasing them out in like number 1, 2, 3, 4 number order, but they're releasing them sort of here, there and all over the place. We're away up to 800 and something, and the next release will be 500 and something. So they seem to be, if you're putting your collection together in number order, they're releasing them in different things. So I'm not going to collect every Criterion collection. It's just too much money, and I don't even want to collect every single one of them. But there's certain ones that certain titles I would like to get, and that just to add to the collection. Indicator Powerhouse Films is a new label that came in the UK last year as well, and they number their films as well. They're a wee bit different in the way they work. We always get a booklet. I haven't checked their films yet. I've got a couple of them. I have not checked them out, but I've heard so many great things about the transfer is really good. Special features you get are really good. But the problem with them are they're numbered. They're like limited to a certain amount of copies. I think one of the ones that are basically discontinued and done with and deleted is basically Christine. Christine was the first release that got, and because it was Christine's one of them cult classic movies by John Carpenter that everybody wants to get their hands on. They sold out. I think basically just before the summer. I think that they just basically discontinued it, and they're not making any more copies. But what they have done, if you have missed out, they've gave you an alternate kind of release. It's not as good as the sort of Powerhouse, I think, release. It's not as good as that. because they give you the DVD and the Blu-ray and hundreds of a booklet and hundreds of special features. It's not as good as that, but it is a sort of standard release where you all get the film and maybe a few special features. I think it's just in case that the copies have ran out and you want to still get that title. I suggest that if you're collecting, your best one to get the numbered ones, because unless they do reissue them or re-release them some point down the line, these are the ones that are going to cost a lot more money later in the future. I don't see that in terms of, I'm not really into that in Blu-rays where I'll buy a Blu-ray just for the sake of it's going to be a lot of money in later years, or buy a figure or anything like that, it's going to be a lot of money in years. I buy it because I want to buy it for the collection, or because I'm interested in collecting. If it becomes a lot of money in the later years, it becomes a lot of money. I don't see the point of... I've seen all these people grabbing, like one of the Arrow movies was that ran out was Hell Comes to Frogtown, and people were grabbing it. It was numbered to 6,000 or something like that, 6,000 copies or something like that, and it sold out. It was discontinued, and then eBay, once it was discontinued, people were selling it on eBay for crazy prices, away up to 100 odd quid for a Blu-ray. You know what I mean? It was not worth it. And then they got shot in the foot because a couple of years down the line, they re-released it. This time you were pretty much getting the same disc, but you wouldn't get the booklet. That was the only sort of... But that was it. For the sake of a booklet, so I don't really believe that you should get a Blu-ray if they're numbered just for the sake of holding it. If you really like that movie, or you're passionate about movies and you love collecting, then that's when, say what's worth it. I just don't think you should sell them online, but hey, that's just me. But Powerhouse Films have done maybe 40 already, and since the release of last November or something like that. So they're sort of slightly growing, and I'm sure there's a lot of collectors out there that are grabbing them left, right and centre, but they are dear. They are £15 every release, and they don't get any cheaper, and your only sale price for them is probably talking about, maybe if you're lucky, if you get them in 2 for 25, which is still dear really, but you're not going to find them you're never going to find them unless maybe 10 years down the line you find them in some kind of bargain bin or something like that, when Blu-rays or whatever have died, and you're probably that's when you're really going to find them. But another one, a company I wasn't going to mention on this, but I felt I should, and it's a new kind of company. But if you live here in the UK, it's basically UK based only, and it's HMV. HMV recently, last October, they're bringing out their own releases of films where you, like HMV only sort of thing, where you can only get them in HMV. They've also done a bunch of standard releases. I've noticed that as well, with certain titles that you can't get, that you can only get online, or you can't get, but you can only get like in the shop pretty much. What they've done is they've released the HMV Premium Collection. Now, the HMV Premium Collection comes it's pretty nice. It comes in a nice sort of slip case, and then they give you the original artwork, the covers again, which is pretty awesome, and they give you postcards, and some odd ones give you booklets depending on what it is. They've re-releasing some of the ones that have been released before in the UK. Probably maybe say 5%, maybe out of the 10%, that half of the percentage of films that they've released before, but they're mainly focused on ones that haven't been released in the UK. I wasn't going to mention it, but because they're sort of, I wouldn't say that they've been like a sort of big company, like in terms of Eureka or Premium Collection. Well, I wouldn't say they're a big company like Eureka or Masters of Cinema. I wouldn't say they're like a big company like Eureka, Masters of Cinema, Criterion, all that, where they go, or Arrow Video, where they go out their way and certainly transfer it and find you extra features. Nothing like that. So they're more like a standard release, putting a fancier cover. But they do get some of them give you special features, and depending on what it is, if it's been released with no special features, you're just getting that same release that was released before. So just to make you aware that when you see them, they're not really released by any kind of company. They're only HMV only. I like them. I don't mind them. I think the covers are great. The fact that they're giving you old artwork for the sleeves, that's all great. And booklets and postcards, that's the selling point for me, and that's when I think it's worth it. You will find these probably on a better sale certain times of the year. They just had a sale this summer, and it was 2 for £15, which I think that's the best time to grab them. 2 for £25 can be, depending if it's something that you really want and you're like, well, I really want to get that movie. But if you're in terms of wanting to collect them, if you're collecting, because they are numbered as well, so if you want to say, oh, I'd like to get that certain film, maybe that certain film, that certain film for the collection, that film, can't see my way wanting to spend 2 for £25 on them. Best waiting for them to come down. I could see them kind of, maybe under standard 15, 2 for 25, 2 for 15 maybe. In the near future, I can see them kind of being their price, which I think is more reasonable as opposed to paying 2 for £25. I don't think that's the best release, but hey, no, that's the way that they are now. And they also do some standard releases. They've recently brought out films like the Cable Guy on Blu-ray, which you can only get in HMV. The Craft, the Awakenings. What else? Witches of Eastwick, and a certain bunch of other ones you will find at HMV only. They've got the HMV only sticker, so it's kind of more of a standard release thing. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much all I have to say on the sort of labels to get if you're a new collector in the UK. But what I will show you is, for example, just before I go, guys, here's some of my Arrow videos. I've put together another shelf of my Arrow videos, sort of filling up right there. Great company, guys, really are. And some of my HMV Premium Collection. This is the HMV Premium Collection I was talking about. Some more HMV Premium Collection, and this is the Eureka Masters of Cinema line, and it runs up to Harold and Maude there. And the standard releases by Eureka is Enemy Mine and Fright Night. Arrow Academy, these are the only ones from Arrow Academy line I was mentioning that I've got. Like I says, I haven't really got many from the company to know more about it, so and last but not least, my Criterion collection so far, and my Powerhouse or Indicator Powerhouse. So yeah, guys, these are labels that films that are quite dear to get, especially if you're a collector. You'll know what I'm talking about. So they're collector's editions to certain movies, classics, cult classics, you name it. And I just thought I'd give you a quick look to see what I had in the collection to let you guys see. And I've got the Ghostbusters sort of watching over the collection, which is pretty cool. This is some of the standard releases, I like to call. These are pretty much your standard releases. Basically, as I was saying, that you'll find most of these. And some of my TV shows box sets there. Some of my Disney movies. Some of my Disney movies down there as well. And of course the superhero comic book movies right there. So yeah, guys, that's as far as my Blu-ray collection stands. Also, I do have a bunch of DVDs. My DVD collection, which slowly but surely is getting smaller and smaller each time I get a new Blu-ray. So let us know, guys, in the comments below what you guys think. don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Are you a collector? Are you a new collector? Are you just starting out but you don't know what to get? Has this video been helpful to you? I just think that if you're collecting, I mean, if it's a film you really, unless it's a film you really want to get and you say, you know, it is dear, but it's one of my favourite films, then get it by all means. Don't, you know, if that's what you want to do. I'm just suggesting if you're buying films, because this is an expensive hobby. As you can see, it's took me since 2008-9 to get to where I am today in this collection, as you can see there before me. And you know, it can be expensive, especially if you love movies and you're passionate about movies. I basically live and breathe movies, so yeah, let us know what you think, if this video's been helpful to you guys. So till next time guys, take care, keep collecting guys, bye bye.